What's going on, culture changers? Welcome back to the week 2 predictions. On the screen below, you can see our week 1 win-loss record.
Mhm.
Obviously, you can tell who did a little bit better. Your boy had the right picks. But no, in all seriousness, there was, a lot of, upsets, I think, in this past week's games. And then a couple that were close to our heart that obviously didn't go in favor of the way we wanted them to. So, cutting right to the chase, we're going to go ahead and get straight into the first game of the week, Thursday night. Cleveland Browns versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, we know that rookie quarterbacks tend to not have a good record on Thursday Night Football. This is Joe Burrow's second week. Cincinnati played a close game against the Chargers. However, they did lose
Mhm.
due to a missed field goal at the end of the game. I still think that Cleveland has enough, even though they didn't show it really this past Sunday. But I think Cleveland's going to go ahead and win this game.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati is going to have a hard time kind of defending all the weapons that Cleveland has. So I'm also going to go with Cleveland in this game too. The next game we're going to talk about is the Giants and Bears. The Bears played the Lions and they kind of
Yeah.
came from behind and made sure believe 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. The
Wow.
Giants kept it close for a little while against the Steelers on Monday Night Football. I just think the Giants don't have a lot of talent going for them. So I think I'm going to go with the Bears in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I disagree. I'm going to go ahead and take the Bears in this one. I just think that the defense might be a little bit too much for the Giants, as we saw Pittsburgh's defense really stood out in that week 1 game on Monday Night Football. So I definitely think that the Chicago Bears have enough to be able to take control and win that game. Moving on to the third game this week, we have the Rams and Eagles. Now, we saw the Eagles kind of fold. They had a 17-point win and they lost, or 17-point lead against the
Mhm.
Washington football team, and they ended up losing 27-17. That's pretty rough. I, however, do not think that they will be able to recover. I think the Rams are going to go ahead and take this game and move to 2-0 on the season.
Yeah, I think Philly's just too injury prone already to start the season. I think they have too many guys
Yeah.
out. I think I'm just going to go with the Rams again, who put on a decent performance against the Cowboys this last Sunday.
Yep.
Getting into the next game, it's actually going to be the Dallas Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Falcons are still trying to figure out who they are. I mean, they do have quite a few weapons with Gurley coming in this year. Defensively, it's kind of a little bit different. Um, I think Dallas again is too talented for Atlanta. I think Dallas finds a way to win this game.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think this game could be like offensive fireworks. I think both of these teams can put up points in a hurry if they have to.
Mhm.
But I think that the Dallas Cowboys defense is just better than the Atlanta Falcons defense, which I think will be the prevailing factor in the Cowboys winning this game. Moving on to our fifth game, we have the Carolina Panthers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I believe this is going to be Tampa Bay's home opener. After that disappointing loss in their first game against the Saints, I do think that they're going to take the win and push the Panthers down to 0-2. Moving forward, I think that this team needed that loss to kind of get going. And yeah,
I think Tampa Bay is going to be, have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because, they were the talk around the league this whole offseason. So I think they're going to want to come back, beat another divisional foe, because if not, then they fall down 0-2 and down 2 in the division. They certainly don't want that. So I think Tom Brady and all those guys are going to get on the right page. The defense is going to step up, and Tampa Bay wins this one. The next game is going to be the San Francisco 49ers at the New York Jets. The Jets just didn't look good this last week. I mean, they've
yeah,
gotten rid of a
absolutely
lot of
not.
guys. Apparently, there's something going on with Le'Veon's hamstring, even though he tweeted out that there's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I just think San Fran's going to come in, just do what they do, play good offense, play good defense, run the ball, and get out of this game.
Yeah, I think San Francisco is kind of going to be pissed coming off of that loss against the Arizona Cardinals. I think that they're really just going to come in there, ground and pound the ball against the Jets and win this game pretty handedly. I think they are pissed, and moving forward, they were the NFC champions, so they've got to kind of prove that they still belong in that discussion. The next game that we have, I think, is going to be an interesting game, a very good game. The Denver Broncos against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Denver kind of struggled a little bit with the Tennessee Titans defense. I think that the Steelers is a little bit more exotic and they've got a little bit more pieces on that defense. I think that, the offense for the Steelers looked pretty decent in their opener game against the Giants. And I think that, being at home is going to be enough for them to kind of prevail, move to 2-0 and beat the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I mean it is kind of like a cool matchup, right? Because both of these teams just played on Monday night, so like they both have like 6 days off or 5 days off in between games. So both of them are kind of coming off the same amount of rest. Unfortunately, Denver doesn't have Von Miller at all. And then, hopefully Cortland Sutton's going to come back this week and, provide some offensive firepower. Ultimately, though, I just think Pittsburgh's a little bit more experienced. So I think the Steelers are going to win this game.
Okay, so far I think that we have agreed on every single matchup so far.
Yeah. The next game is going to be the Jaguars and the Titans. I mean, let us know in the comments if you actually had the Jaguars winning that game, because I don't think anybody did. I mean, I don't know if anyone can name like 5 starters on that team. I mean, if you're a Jacksonville fan, I'm sure you can or whatever. But overall, I just think the Titans are going to be just too much. I think they're just going to run all game with Derrick Henry, and then they're going to play really good defense against Minshew and whoever else they got on offense.
Yeah, honestly, I think that the Titans, it's going to be, I think there's going to be a little bit of a battle there. I think Jacksonville put up a really good fight against the Colts, and they actually won that game. I don't know how, but I think that the Tennessee Titans, they're just too much. They're too disciplined of a team to really kind of let this get out of hand. I think they're just going to go ahead and move to 2-0, get their first division win, and win their home opener this week. Moving on, we have the Lions and Packers. The Green Bay Packers, they put up some points on the Minnesota Vikings. That was a shootout. Who really saw that coming? But, I think that the Lions kind of just had a divisional loss to the Bears. And I think they're going to lose again, falling 0-2 in the division. I think they really needed that first win to kind of get them going. But Green Bay, home opener again, as much as I've been saying it, seems like I'm getting all the home openers. But I think Green Bay is just going to come out and prevail. The offense looked pretty dang good. And I think that the defense will be able to do more against the Lions than they did against the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers has kind of owned the Detroit Lions over the last, I don't know, how long has he been playing, basically, right? So I just, I think the Packers are one of the most complete teams. They're pretty good on offense. Obviously, you wish that there was a little bit more firepower for Rodgers, but their defense is legit. So I just think that they're going to be a little bit too much for the Lions to handle, and I'm going to go with the Pack as well. The next game we have is the Bills at the Dolphins. Now, last week I projected the Dolphins to beat the Patriots. I don't know why I picked that, but this week I'm not going to go with the Dolphins. I'm going to go with the Bills. Again, they're another really good team. They don't have a lot of names, but they're a really good team. They know what they do, and they do it really well. I just, that's all I pretty much had to say. The Bills, I think, got this one.
Yeah, I think that Sean McDermott runs, a great team up in Buffalo. I wish Cleveland ended up hiring him when he was suggested to the organization to hire. He has their defense playing really well, and the offense, it just sustains enough to win games. I think that Josh Allen looked like he took the next step. I mean, he did play the Jets, so, that's kind of to be determined. But, they try and get him weapons. They try and do things to make him as comfortable as possible in that offense. And they always get stops on defense. I think that even though Miami's improved and they put up a good fight against the Patriots, I do think that the Bills end up pulling this game out and moving to 2-0 on the season with 2 divisional wins, which is really big for them. Moving on, this next game is going to be the Minnesota Vikings and Indianapolis Colts. Now, both of them kind of came off of disappointing losses this past week. However, I think that the Vikings are still just a little bit better than the Indianapolis Colts are. I really could see this game going either way, which is kind of, why I'm wavering about it. But I think that the Minnesota Vikings are going to actually pull out this game and get the W and move to 1-1 on the season.
Yeah, I think, like you said, this might be one of the closer matchups that we've talked about for this upcoming week. I do think that the Vikings I think that they overall are the better team, but they have a lot of differences going on both offense and defense. Like they lost Diggs and Justin Jefferson's in there now. A lot of guys on defense have kind of turned over, especially in the secondary, and Hunter hasn't been playing. So, and Linval Joseph left in free agency. I still think that the Vikings managed to find a way to win this game. But if they don't, I think it's because Phillip Rivers plays much better this coming week.
Okay, I can see that.
The next game that we have to talk about is the Washington football team against the Arizona Cardinals. I was pretty shocked when he told me that Washington came back and ended up beating Philly. I mean, Philly did lose a bunch of guys to injury before the game and then during the game.
Yeah.
But I just think that the Cardinals, especially off of coming, especially after beating the San Francisco 49ers, I
Yeah.
just think that right now they appear as the more superior team. I think Kyler being a dual threat's really gonna, put a lot of
Like pressure on that defensive line.
yeah, I don't know what's going on right now. And then just the weapons overall, I just think that Arizona has too much. So I'm picking them to win this game.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm struggling, man.
like he said, I didn't really think Washington was going to put up as good of a fight against the Philadelphia Eagles as they did. However, it's like we mentioned earlier, the Philadelphia Eagles are dealing with a lot of injuries. That's something that they seem to always be dealing with. I think that the Arizona Cardinals are really just going to get after it. I think what they could just do is take a quick lead and kind of just manage and maintain throughout the game, end up pulling this game off. It's a home opener. Washington's going to have to travel across the country to Arizona. That's going to be a little bit rough. I just think that Arizona pulls this game out and they move to 2-0 and, strong, case to start leading the division.
Right.
The next game that we have, and let me just say this, the Texans might have had the worst hand dealt to them in the first 2 weeks. They had to go against the Chiefs and the Ravens, like probably the two best teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Obviously, Baltimore steamrolled Cleveland, and the Texans got steamrolled in week 1.
Yeah.
I think that that's going to probably be the case again. Baltimore just looks like they have it all figured out. I don't think that the Texans do, but they've had a little bit of extra time to prepare for this game. I think it might be closer than people think, but I do think that the Ravens are going to pull it out and win the game and move to 2-0.
Yeah, I think that the Ravens are they're clearly probably the best team. They can just control the clock at will. They play really good, really exotic defense, and just overall, they might be one of the best teams. I think we kind of overlook them just because they're in our division sometimes.
Yeah.
As a Cleveland Browns fan, it's like we have more talent, so we should be able to compete. But they're just a really good team. I mean, they do have guys, names like Lamar, Calais Campbell all over the place, but they're just a really good team. They really know what they are, the same way that the Buffalo Bills are. I just think that the Texans, they just don't have enough to beat the Ravens in this game. The next game is the Chiefs at the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Chargers barely beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals this week, and the Chiefs came off that pretty big win against the Texans. Yeah. I just think that, the Chargers, they do have one of the better defenses in the league, in my opinion. They have guys almost at every single position.
Right.
But it's Mahomes, and he's kind of like an improviser, and he can kind of just do whatever. And it's really hard to defend just improvising, and just the speed with Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman and then Edwards-Helaire. So I think the Chiefs are going to go ahead and win this one again and win their first divisional game.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. The Chargers made it look tough against the Cincinnati Bengals. Not saying they're a bad team, but, I thought the Chargers would have, maybe won like 24-10 or, like 27-14, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a 17-14 game. I think that obviously the Chiefs have a lot more on offense, and they've got enough pieces on defense to get the job done. I just think that, Tyrod is just he holds the team back of what they can do offensively because he's a little bit more conservative. I think the Chiefs take this game, win, like he said, get a divisional win and move to 2-0 on the season. The next game that we have here is a former Super Bowl matchup, the New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Russell Wilson looked like dangerous on Sunday against the Falcons. I don't think it'll be as easy against the Patriots, but he looked like he got the job done. This is a Sunday Night Football game. I think this will be a great game, especially to see Cam back in prime time. However, that boy Russ ain't letting them down. Russell Wilson's carrying the Seahawks to a victory against Bill Belichick and the Patriots this week on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I feel pretty certain in saying this, but this might be the first time that these two teams match up since that Super Bowl where he threw the interception.
Yeah,
I don't know, I just don't remember them playing in recent memory. So, I think along the same lines as you, I think Russell's going to be kind of pissed off that the Super Bowl ended that way, and Pete Carroll's probably going to be like, all right, let's establish the ground game in this one. So
I think he's been trying to establish the ground game since he's gotten there.
Yeah. So I think ultimately the Seahawks do take this one. I think that, with a lot of the opt-outs on the Patriots defense, it's going to be pretty hard for them to stop Russell. And then the last game of the week, the Monday Night Football game, is going to be the New Orleans Saints at the Las Vegas Raiders.
Vegas Raiders.
There's so many different lost teams out there. So overall, I just think the Saints are the much better team. I know the Raiders played the Panthers, but I don't think the Panthers are going to be that good this year. I think the Saints, again, with maybe the Ravens and the, Chiefs, they might be one of the most complete teams, and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I just think that they are just going to be too much for the Raiders to handle.
Yeah, I mean, something that we touched on about the Saints in our week one, preview prediction was that they were one of the most complete teams, and the defense showed against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had multiple interceptions on Brady. Janoris Jenkins took one to the house. So that team is getting points on offense and on defense. Obviously, I think they're very inspired because they feel like they've been slighted the last few years in the playoffs. I think they're on a mission to, get back and say, hey, this is our division. This is our conference. Saints win this game against the Raiders. I think it could be a close game just because it's in Los Angeles, but I think the Saints are just going to or Las Vegas, sorry.
Yeah.
But I think the Saints are going to run away with it and take that game. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I noticed we literally took the same teams on every single pick this week. So no matter what I do, he does. That was not the case last week. You get a little bit more of an idea
after the first week.
Yeah, after each week of, how teams are and maybe how they favor in their matchups. But let us know down below who your team is, who you think, if they're going to, who they play, if you think that they're going to win. Tell us who you think if we had any teams wrong. And just feel free to discuss down there. We'll definitely comment back and let you know what it is. Thank you guys for watching. We'll do this again in week 3.
Yep.
Talk to you guys later.